The Ferrari Testarossa is an automobile from Ferrari that went into production in 1984 as the successor to the Ferrari 512 BB. The name is reminiscent of the successful front-engine Ferrari 250 Testa Rossa racing cars of the 1950s and early 1960s. The body of the Testarossa was designed by Pininfarina and manufactured at the Scaglietti body plant in Modena. The Testarossa gained fame in the 1980s in the series Miami Vice as the car of Detective James, Sonny, Crockett, Don Johnson. History. The car's name, which means red head in Italian, derives from the 12-cylinder engine's valve covers, which are painted red. This is actually the third Testarossa model, although the first two, 250 Testa Rossa and 500 Testa Rossa, were spelled Testa Rossa in the correct linguistic separation. Ferrari had the rights to the name Testarossa protected, but lost them after a legal dispute with the Nuremberg toy manufacturer Kurt Hess before the Düsseldorf Regional Court on August 2, 2017. 1. The reason given was that Ferrari had not used the trademark for too long. The engine installed in front of the rear axle is technically a 180 degrees V engine and not a boxer engine, as the connecting rods of two opposing pistons each share a crankshaft crank. It has two overhead camshafts, DOHC, per cylinder head and mechanical K-Jetronic gasoline injection from Bosch. Maximum output is 287 kilowatts, 390 horsepower. The car reaches a top speed of around 290 km per hour and accelerates from 0 to 100 km per hour in 5.3 seconds. The Testarossa covers the distance of 400 meters from a standstill in 13.5 s. Ferrari used the same platform for the car as for its predecessor, the 512 BB. A tubular steel chassis sits under the body. It differs from conventional chassis by having a subframe with engine and transmission that can be detached to facilitate access to the engine. The wheels are suspended on double wishbones at the front and also on double wishbones at the rear. One rear wishbone each is trapezoidal to guide the track. The weight rests 40% on the front axle and 60% on the rear axle, which is fitted with two spring damper units per wheel. 225 50ths tires are mounted on the front axle, 255 50ths on the rear. While the 512 BB has a single radiator in the front, the Testarossa has a pair on each side in front of the rear wheels. This arrangement close to the engine is made possible by the wide bodywork with its distinctive side vents. They were a new styling element at the time and were subsequently frequently copied in the tuning scene. A total of 7,177 Testarossa, 2,261 512 TR and 501 F512M were produced. They are thus among the most widespread of the most common Ferrari models. Ferrari 512 TR. The original Testarossa was revised in 1991 and appeared as the 512 TR. The output of the 4.9-liter engine was increased to 315 kilowatts, 428 horsepower. This increase in power was achieved primarily through the modified cylinder heads with larger valves, the modified exhaust system and the new airboxes. Externally, the 512 TR stands out from the Testarossa primarily in the design of the front end. Instead of the continuous parallel grille, this is now trapezoidal and adopts the design line of the 348 TB. At the rear, the elevation on the engine cover is flatter and features an additional cooling slot. The perforated metal bands on the two fins of the hood are missing and the rear apron forms an enclosure for the exhaust pipes. Ferrari F512M. The F512M, M for Modificata, was the last version of the Testarossa in 1994. The engine power was 324 kilowatts, 440 horsepower. It was the last unlimited mid-engine 12-cylinder and was the last Ferrari model to have a flat engine. The car can be recognized at the front by lights behind clear glass. Previously they were flip-up headlights, and at the rear by two round light elements each on the right and left. On the Testarossa and 512 TR the lights were behind the black radiator shrouds. It was replaced by the front-engine 550 Maranello in 1996. Use in films and media. Detective James, Sonny, Crockett, Don Johnson, drove a white Testarossa in the television series Miami Vice starting in Season 3. A Testarossa was also used in Sega's successful slot game Outrun. Jordan Belfort, Leonardo DiCaprio, drives a white Ferrari 512 TR in The Wolf of Wall Street. On C64 there was a computer game test drive with Ferrari Testa Rossa and Porsche 959. Celebrity owners. Prominent owners of a Testarossa included French film actor Alain Delon, musicians Elton John, Dr. Dre, and Formula One driver Gerhard Berger, who worked for Ferrari at the time. In 1987, Pininfarina designed a one-off Testarossa Spider in silver with a white soft top for Giovanni Agnelli, the president of Fiat at the time.